I always thought early retirement was just a dream until I learned about selling options. Yo, what is going on, premium chasers? I hope you are having a God blessed day today. Every single person that comments down below is I'm going to share with you my playbook where it shows the 5 income streams that I'm using to retire early. Everyone's getting that. Just drop a comment down below. While you're down there, hit like, hit subscribe, because today, guys, we're going to be talking about my favorite retire early strategy, and this involves options. Now, listen, don't click off this video just yet, right? This isn't the crazy hyped up gambling degenerate stuff, right? This is something that is unlike anything you've probably seen before in terms of options trading. And it has been my mission with this channel to share this with as many people as possible. So give me a few minutes and I promise you this is going to be so helpful. Okay, so we're going to use Nvidia here as our example today because guys, this market's absolutely insane. I'm not going to waste our time talking about that, but this market's insane. We can see Nvidia is having a massive run up these past 2 days. Now, what a lot of investors like to do when they see a large run up, right, is they'll be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take some profits off the table now. This is a good time, right? Maybe I bought Nvidia on the dip. I got a couple shares at $100. I'm going to start offloading some of these at 120, 125, right? Okay, cool. You locked in some profit. That's fantastic, right? Nothing wrong with that. But let me show you a better way to do it that not a lot of people really understand. So let's go over to Nvidia here. On our options chain, we're going to go over to trade Nvidia options. From here, we're going to click something called sell a call. So previously, probably what you've always done, if you've ever done options trading or any sort of trading before, you've probably been an options buyer. Now, an options buyer essentially is somebody that pays to be able to control 100 shares of a stock, right? Without paying the ridiculous amount that it would cost to own 100 stocks. So simply explained, right? Nvidia costs $124 a share. If you wanted to control 100 shares, you'd have to buy 100 shares. That will cost you $12,000, $12,500, right? Okay, but when you buy options, you can pay essentially like a couple $100, and you'd be able to essentially control 100 shares. In my opinion, it's a degenerate strategy. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of much smarter people than me in this world, and especially with trading, right? But me, I am not smart enough to know how to do those kind of trading stuff. I've seen what the elites do, the top 0.001%. I used to be an IT guy at a high frequency trading company, probably the top high frequency trading company in the country, and I saw these people that are doing this stuff truly full time and making millions upon millions of dollars. I ain't stand a chance against them. All right, that ain't me. So what do? Well, I learned about selling options. Now, this is a lot more different than buying options. Okay, so when we are clicking this thing called sell a call, what we're saying is we're willing to sell our 100 shares. Okay, we're willing to sell our 100 shares by a certain date or on a certain date, right? That date being the expiration date. So we're just going to select 31 days away. So what I'm saying here is I'm willing to sell my 100 shares of Nvidia, right, in 31 days from now. Maybe I'll sell my shares. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. We see what's going to happen. And listen, if you guys can't have fun with this, I saw one of you guys in the comments, right? Listen, I don't. You got to click off this video if you can't have fun, right? And you're telling me, oh, I don't like that you're having so much fun with finance. I'm like, bro. Like, you listen, read what you just said. You probably live an extremely boring life, man. Like, come on. Come on, have some fun, have some passion in your life, man. Let's get it. So what we're doing is selling a call, right? And what we're saying is we're going to sell our 100, willing to maybe sell our 100 shares in 31 days for a price that we pick, right? Yes, a price that we pick. So let's say you bought them around 120. You bought your shares at 120. And you know what? In 31 days, you're like, you know what, Pete? If it hits 130, I'm totally cool selling those 100 shares, locking in them gains. And if you're willing to say that, you would actually collect $515 from an options buyer. Full disclosure, guys, obviously these numbers are constantly changing. This is simply for educational content only, okay? So I'm going to toss this into our covered call calculator here, and I'll make this zoom in a little bit here so we can all see it. Now, obviously, these numbers are only what I'm seeing right now at the open. They are constantly changing these premiums, this income that you're collecting. Right now, you might be wondering, where is this $515 coming from? You can see it's constantly changing. Well, it's coming from a silly options buyer, which you are no longer. That's called our juice button, all right? That's what we do. Squeezing the juice from these silly little options buyers, okay? And all these calculators are free. Everything is free here on the channel, guys. All the calculators are in our Facebook group. Join us. It is such a vibe. The link is in description, all right? So we are saying we're willing to sell our shares for $130, all right? That is the strike of option, right? We'll put 130 there. What did we buy our shares for? Like for this example, we'll just say you bought them around 120, currently trading at 125. Let's say you bought a little bit at the dip for yesterday, right? So let's just say you bought them at 120, right? So, right, we bought for 120, we buy low, we sell high, right? This is like important to do when you're doing a covered call. What's your cost basis? Like sell your calls above what you bought the stocks for. Common sense, but I got to say it. We get a premium return of 4.29% in this example. If we end up selling our shares, we make an additional profit of $1,000, right? That's the difference between what you bought it for and what you're selling it for. Simple math. That's what we do here. We keep things simple. At least for me, I need to, right? For a total profit, right? The profit on the shares plus the profit that the premium that you collected up front, right? With a fantastic return right there. And obviously this is just an example, but full circle, a lot can happen here, guys, right? So for example, 31 days rolls around. Let's say Nvidia stays below $130. Let's say it just trades sideways around 125. Well, your options contract would expire worthless. That's not a bad thing. That means your shares, right, would be freed up for you to then run the play again and collect more premium. This premium that you're collecting that up front. That is immediately deposited into your brokerage account, right? That is premium from an options buyer. You're given that. That's the only way you give any of that back is if you decide to close your position early, which is a topic for another video, okay? So you're collecting that up front, right? That's not getting taken from you. So again, if it stays below 130, your contract will expire worthless. Your shares are returned for you. Now you can run another covered call contract on your 100 shares. Fantastic. Second thing that can happen is, let's say Nvidia jumps to 150, 160, 200, 300, $500 a share. You're selling your shares at 130. So it has to be a risk you're willing to take. For me personally, I like to sell shares, guys. Like for me, the purpose of this portfolio is to actually make money. Like that's the purpose. So I'm okay selling my shares as long as I'm selling them for a profit. Like I'm not going to beat myself up over the fact if it jumps to 150 and I missed out on gains. Some of you will beat yourselves up over that. So this is why you have to go build your own strategy, your own portfolio around your risk tolerances and your goals. I can't help you with that, right? You got to do that for yourself or go work with like a financial advisor, right? And that's a whole nother separate story that I can talk about, but go do you, right? I'm just telling you what I like to do, right? So for me, I'm comfortable. I like locking in gains. And the reason I like locking in gains, guys, is because this is the stock market and there's opportunities everywhere. Okay. For me, I got the blinders on where nobody's distracting me. I have a plan and I stick to my plan. Okay. So those are the two things that can happen, right? It stays below 130 and nothing happens. Your shares get back and you can run the cover call again. You do have to sell your shares for 130 and you lock in the gains that we showed here on the calculator, right? Now that's cool because let's assume you did sell your shares. Right, like totally, like it got to 130, right? You collected an extra, $1,000 on the shares, right? And you have, now cash sitting in your account, right? That's fantastic, right? You have about $14,515 sitting in your account. Fantastic, right? Now, what do you do with that money? Well, now what we can do is something called a cash secured put. A cash secured put, let me show you, is simply us going back to this options chain. And instead of selecting sell call, we are clicking sell a put. Now, again, I like to most of the time be 30 to 45 days. There are more advanced strategies for weeklies and leverage ETFs and all that good stuff. There are other content here on the channel about that. Okay. So what we're going to do here, once a Robinhood here loads up for us, we're a bit slow because probably this market is absolutely insane. So let's see. So now we are on the sell put, and I'm just putting the same expiration date for 31 days away. So what am I saying when I click sell put? Well, what I'm saying is I'm willing to maybe buy 100 shares of Nvidia in 31 days, okay, for a price that I choose, right, and get paid a premium upfront from an options buyer. All right. So let's take a look. Nvidia is trading at $125 now. Most retail investors, dumb money they love to call us, is going out there and just buying it for $125. I see it. I see it everywhere. Listen, I'm all up in the groups. I see what y'all doing. you're going now. Now you're not scared anymore, right? Because April's passed, the bear market's gone, and now you're buying Nvidia at 125, right? When you should have been getting into it when it dropped to like 90. But listen, that's a whole separate video as well. But for this example, let's say, I don't love it at 125. I want to buy it like, somewhere cheaper, right? I want to buy it at like 115. You know what, Pete? If it hits 115, I'm totally cool buying 100 shares of Nvidia in 31 days. If it drops to 115, I believe in this company. I love this company. I think 125 is a little rich for my blood, but if it hits at 115 in 31 days, totally cool buying into it. Awesome. If you did that, right, you would collect $291 from an options buyer, right? This would be $290 from an options buyer. Hit the juice button. Okay. Now, obviously, these are just for example purposes at the time I was recording this. But if we go into our options calculator again, all of these are free inside of our Facebook group. Join us. It is all about options selling, guys. $290 in premium you're collecting. Now, we have to put up some money on the line, guys, because your brokerage isn't going to just trust that you will buy 100 shares. Oh, yeah, we trust you, old Pete, right? Like, no. They're going to lock up some of your money, okay, whether that's margin or your cash, right? So we said we're going to buy it for $115 a share. So 115 times 100. What is it, guys? We got it. 11500, okay? $11,500 will be locked up for you, okay? So what do we look like here? Well, a return right here, right, is the collateral divided by the premium, right? You're getting a 2.52% on your money in a 31-day period. Now, obviously, this is just the example that I'm showing you right here in front of your face when I shot this morning, okay? But that's what your collateral is, what your premium will be and your return on your collateral. I always like to look at return on collateral as my ultimate number because that's what I'm doing. Like, look, we hear it all the time, guys. We hear it all the time. People saying, hey, you got to make your money work for you or work for you. And like, what are the strategies there? Well, this is one of them in my opinion, right? You have like high yield savings account, you have treasury bonds, and you can actually I want to see my money actually making real money, not paper, right? Like, and what I mean when I say paper, well, I mean when people just see gains on a keyboard or on their screen or on their app, but that's not actual money. You're just holding it in like an ETF or something. Like, it's not real until it's real money, right? So to me, when I say, how do I make my money make me more money? I mean tangible money, not just, a nice to look at number on my screen. Okay? And I think a lot of people have forgotten that. It's not about just dumping your money in like an ETF or something. Trust me, I recommend doing that for your retirement, stuff like that for sure. But like in this portion, for me, I like to focus on actually making money, not just like looking at a screen and feeling good about it. We've seen what can happen in these markets and the times that we live in. These markets can move real quick, right? So our collateral right here, obviously, is 11,500. That's going to be locked up for that 31 days, right? That's going to be locked up for that 31 days. We'll just put 31 as our expiration date, right? And we're getting a return of that 2.52% in this educational example, okay? So let's talk about what can actually happen here, okay? Because there's a few things. Number one, if right, Nvidia stays above 15. Let's say 31 days rolls around, Nvidia is trading at 120. Well, your contract will expire worthless. Your money would be freed up, essentially returned back to you for you to then do another cash secured put, right? And then you can go and chase more premium from those silly little options buyers. Fantastic. Second thing that can happen is in 31 days, let's say Nvidia drops to 115, it drops to 110, it drops to 100, drops to 90, it drops to 50. You're buying your 100 shares at $115. So you got to be comfortable with that. Now, if we end up having to buy our shares, let's say we bought them at 115 and it's trading around that area as well, even around like 110. We bought them at 115. Well, then what we can actually do, right, our $11,500 will be taken from us, but now we have 100 shares. Now, what can we do with those 100 shares, you say? Well, what we can then do is simply go and sell calls against those shares that we have just acquired to collect more premium, and we rinse and repeat that. Guys, make sure you drop a comment because there's 5 additional retirement streams that I am looking at to retire early. Everybody's going to get that playbook for commenting down below. And if you're somebody that wants a little bit more of a handheld approach, I have a 1-year-long incubator program that's going to show you how you can set up your very own option selling portfolio. I do believe this takes about a year to really master and become really proficient in, because we do not trade a lot. We are really patient, right? We're paid to be patient when we are selling options. So if you want a more hands-on approach with this, make sure to take a look at the first link in the description of today's video, guys. Remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I will see y'all tomorrow.